The real story begins with hot air balloons being pumped full of air. This looks like good, clean fun. Well, past that, we're here at the docks where we meet some Zoomer with a phone texting it up. Then some woman bringing her their luggages.
Hey.
Mistake number 1 occurs when 2 airheads forget their passports. Come on, girls, it's not even 5 minutes into the movie yet. Soon, they all get into a van, and this girl doesn't even put her seatbelt on her own. Well, thank God, at least her mother's there babying her. The van moves countryside. Then, we're taken to this sunny resort. Old Boomer here is relaxing. Then, Marianthi comes to give him a peck on the forehead. The old dude asks Mira to get him a cold one, but Mira's a feminist.
I'm not a slave, okay?
Yeah, girl power. Jack here proclaims that he's just her knight in shining armor, but man, this armor looks brittle and flaccid. He claims to love Mira more than money, and
Can't do this forever.
I guess that's a lot then. Mira is kinda getting bored of the rich life, but not Jack. He's going all in. Back at the van, the 2 girls arrive at their hotel and the desk girl meets them there in full motherland language. The desk girl finally introduces our girls here. The mature one is Catherine Brown, while the angsty Zoomer is Elizabeth Brown, or Liz for short. Apparently, Catherine is from Uncle Sam, while Liz is from Russia. Their registration begins, so Catherine asks Liz for the passports. She lost them.
Oh.
She's quite unapologetic about that too, because Catherine apparently dragged her away from her friends. Her fluency in Zoomer is starting to short me out, man. To make matters worse, apparently the 2 girls are siblings and not mother and daughter. Goes to show that oil and water don't mix.
Not too tired to call your loser friends.
Luckily, the desk girl could call the port to look for their passports. Then they could go to the embassy if they had one, so that was convenient. Catherine wanted a sandwich, but the kitchen is closed, so she may want to try the nightclub. They can try that later after she takes a much-needed shower. Her phone suddenly rings and it was a doctor on the other line.
She's doing really good.
This also reveals that Liz might be a certified schizo, with her needing therapy, mental meds, and whatnot. Catherine regards to the doctor that she has been doing better than her last episode. Then the call ends. Kate then finds Liz asleep, and so she tucks her in. Guess it's sandwich time. By sandwich, I meant this overtly loud nightclub. You know, your run-of-the-mill nightclub with dancing, epileptic lights, and a lot of bad alcohol and bad decisions. Kate gets to the bar where Jack creepily raises a glass to her. Then she meets Myra. They share a handshake and a toast. Then Kate tells Myra that she's a femcel, or what they used to call it, a single gal. Myra happily forces Kate to dance, and she was a lot reluctant before, but she decides to get jiggy with it. Upon spotting a female, here comes Andreas like a desperate vulture and introduces himself to Myra. Kate grabs her phone, then she drops some pamphlets, which I assume are important. Then she grabs a selfie with them. Myra suddenly grabs something, then texts Jack that she has a key. I'm assuming that was Kate's keycard. Then Jack asks for some fresh bubbly and flirts slightly with the bartender. He then walks to the dance floor where it looks like he's dancing with some other woman, but it's all a guise to get the keycard from Myra. Kate then gets tired of the party and says she has to go, but then Andreas claims he owns a hot air balloon and offers them a ride. Kate, being woozy from the boozy and peer pressured, immensely accepts. They celebrate with a little Yuri, and oh my, one of the dudes named Nick grabs some booze. Then they all head for Andreas' Jeep in the parking lot. They zoom out and it's already sunrise. Andreas drives to this dusty facility where it looks empty and no balloon. Andreas asks the girls to have a little faith in him. While they're about to get uncharted,
Help me out, Nick. Let's go.
Jack here walks his way through the hotel and probably about to rob Kate's room. Desert side, the girls party like drunks, but then Jack disguises himself like room service. There's a lot of back and forth here, so bear with me. Andreas and Nick fix up the balloon, and it looks like he was telling the truth after all. Andreas loads up the girls, then Nick ties the balloons tethered to the car. It's a slow takeoff, but can they get much higher? Just as they were all screaming their lungs out of excitement, Liz then gets a text from Kate, and she's bragging about her so-called friends that she just met today. Liz then gets up and she takes a look at the beautiful view from the balcony. Then of course she texts her so-called bestie on how bitter she is that she became a blitz. Jack then knocks several times at their room and the gloves are on. He gets in with the keycard and oh boy. Back at the balloon, it seems like the party scene is enjoying their ride while casually changing altitude several times. While that's all happening, Jack checks the room and gets a knife out. Andreas then teaches the girls to fly the balloon. Then Liz, despite being a brainlet, she texts her idiot friend that there's a creepy old man with a knife in the room. The party goes on while Jack is creeping out Liz. She then gets the advice from her friend to book it. But let's see what's behind cabinet number 1. It's Liz, and she screams her lungs out, then books it for the bathroom. Reality suddenly hits Kate when she finds out that the balloon is drastically changing course. So she notifies the gang, and oh boy, it's revealed that Nick did tie it properly to the car, but he didn't tie the other end to the basket. Can we get a Nobel Peace Prize for Nick over here?
Look, there's 2 ends to the room.
The two dudes, being dudes, begin to get ticked off at each other, and soon a fight breaks out while Mira just takes a selfie. Truly current year, everyone. She then grabs everyone's attention that they have another problem. The balloon is heading for some windmills. From a beatdown to a debate match, now Nick gets into a loud competition with Kate to either push the balloon up or push it down. Andreas tells them to shut up, and he pushes the balloon up while he gets the others to sit down inside the basket. Some rando catches wind of this, so he pulls out his phone and takes a sweet video to get free likes from some degenerate app, probably TikTok. The gang braces for impact while Kate begins to cry. And will you look at that? They're all still in one piece. I'm kidding. Cue the impact, and down Nick goes. Sound the "a body has been discovered" alarm. While bodies are hitting the floor, Liz over here makes the bold move to come out of the bathroom, take her phone, and make a run for her room. Alright, getting back in the basket, the gang opens their eyes from the impact. There's a big gash on the basket. Andreas is heavily injured and Nick is nowhere to be found. Kate asks to get something from the first aid kit, but it's full of junk. Having no choice, Kate just uses her shirt to help aid Andreas' injury. Andreas, while in pain, asks for Kate to turn off the burner, and it looks like he just might live through this. Back at the hotel, Liz quickly asks to call the cops from the front desk. You might think this is such a Debbie Downer of a movie, but it's revealed that Nick is okay. He's grabbing onto a lucky loose rope from the balloon. Myra makes the bold decision to sit on the edge of the basket to try and reach out to Nick. Nick, on the other hand, swings harder and harder, and he's thrown off screen? That was anticlimactic. The girls cry, wah wah wah, yada yada yada, but they didn't realize that the balloon was rising higher and higher. At the hotel's parking lot, it looks like Jack manages to get away empty-handed. He calls Myra, but to no avail, since she's busy fearing for her life at 1,000 feet in the air at the moment, so Jack leaves her a misogynistic voice message, then rides out in his fancy BMW that probably took half the budget of this entire movie. Alright, back to the airborne morons. Since they really have nothing else to do, they just sit around aimlessly.
My boss is gonna kill me.
Andreas then reveals that the balloon isn't really his, it's his boss's, since he's just some lowly ground crew. That deserves a kick, and he's not even allowed to fly it. Also, he only finds out that Nick fell off like rice gum. Back at the hotel, a cop shows up, much to Liz's delight, but he and the desk man begin speaking in some spider tongue. Liz grabs their attention in English, so then it all breaks down. With no payment and no passport, the desk dude makes the Brown sisters look bad. The desk dude also says that Liz's sister abandoned her to party all night at the club. Then he regards what Liz reported of a man stalking their room with a knife was all a dream. It was all in her head. The bop jots down some notes, and he says he'll have to investigate first. Airborne once more. Man, these people are really getting bored of being thousands of feet above the seas. Myra's a bit of a smooth brain, so she suggests landing despite having no water. Then she hopes that Nick landed in the water.
I have to get back.
So he must be alive, right? Well, water has the initial impact of concrete from that height, so good luck with that. Kate tries to get a signal, but to no avail. Then Andreas says steering this balloon is really up to the wind, but he's got a good idea. If they sail low enough, the warm air should drag them back to land. They need to adjust the balloon's thrust, but Andreas can't do it thanks to his injury. Luckily, it's easy enough for a monkey, so here comes said monkey, Myra. She follows Andreas' instructions, and holy cow, someone gives her a medal.
We just keep flying until we see land.
Andreas regards they only have an hour or two worth of gas left, so let's hear those prayers. When they run out of gas, all this equipment will be heavy enough to sink. That, unfortunately, includes Andreas because of his damaged leg. Kate is determined to survive because she doesn't want to leave Liz alone, which Myra is shocked to learn that she's not alone in her room. Guess that's because her heist failed. It's flashback time. Today's schizo motion picture is Myra's psyche, and she remembers telling Jack if they get caught, they'll break up. Jack is confident that they won't ever get caught, and oops, famous last words. If Myra ditches, however, she better pray that Jack won't ever find her. Of course, this might be a joke now, but oh man.
We go see the world.
back to the real show. Kate then spots a yacht on the seas, and then they all begin to scream like Neanderthals at it, hoping to catch their attention and get some help. This all happens to a certain degree because the people in the boat do see the balloon, but just like the penguins, they just smile and wave. Boys. Andreas makes the brave, stupid, yeah, I'll call it stupid move to stand up. He falls in the water, but they're lucky enough that the balloon is low, so he survives the fall. Kate springs into action to try and reel their helpless guppy in, so they throw Andreas some rope. It's too windy, so the rope really can't fly to Andreas, so one of them has to go in. Myra can't swim, so much for her from before, so Kate takes one for the team. With all their fidgeting, Andreas can't swim anymore, so that's body number 2. Meanwhile, at a boat nearby, they just brush off the balloon sighting by being some conservationist.
Do you think the Coast Guard is sending out spy balloons?
Champagne for everyone alive and well on the boat, and it leaves. Kate notices this, and since their annoying screaming doesn't even reach, she pops an idea, a written SOS. Again, Myra is a smooth brain and messes this up, so that idea is out of the question. To make amends, Myra volunteers to get it while Kate holds her legs. She gets the banner, and Kate slowly pulls her up. Alright, I guess we're finally making progress now. They find some lipstick and write SOS with it. Unfortunately, they run out of lipstick, so Kate takes one for the team this time, and oh boy. Once they're done, they flash the banner to the boat. Unfortunately, just like all rich people, they all have tunnel vision on their snooty lives. Back at land, specifically at the hotel, some lady, and she's from Child Protection Services.
Find out who you are, contact your folks.
Liz like a little kid, and she's adamant to do her services. What a tool. Back at the balloon, Kate is still leaking. So some more fan service ensues, and Myra uses her shirt to patch Kate up. Suddenly, a disturbance from the balloon valves comes up, so Myra tries to fix it. Quick trip to the hotel, and it looks like the cop is done with his investigation. So he leaves. The desk boy then asks someone to clean out the Browns' room now. Alright, heading back to the girls, it looks like the disturbance was actually the balloon's thrusters running out of flames.
We need fire. Fast.
So now, just like cavemen, they need to make a fire. They're running out of options. So at first, they're hoping to use a champagne bottle to use it as a magnifying lens and set some cloth on fire. But the bottle's glass is too thick for that. You wouldn't guess what Kate's next idea is. She's gonna use a condom. Specifically, she's gonna use it as a reflector for the sun's rays. So they commit another felony by burning $1. But it works anyway, so way to go, girls. At the Child Protection lady's car, Liz remembers that her sister pinged her last location to her. So she shares this information with the lady. She wants to go there, but the lady doesn't want to because it doesn't seem like a call for help. And not to mention, she's only got an hour because she's only a half day left for shopping.
And while my sister's in danger,
man, this lady is really a female dog. Liz tries to convince her that she can get off early if they follow her idea, so they go with Liz's plan. Speaking of plan, Myra's brain is finally developing, and she gives Kate another idea. Smoke signals. They need something to burn, so they strip down some leftover cloth. Finally, some backstory ensues, and it turns out that Myra was stupid for a good reason. She never got educated in the first place.
Trapped. Backwards.
Myra then advised Kate because she's strong and well educated, but she's still grieving that if she was really strong, Andreas would have still been here. Then the girls burn the cloth, and finally a smoke signal comes out. Speaking of coming out, here comes Liz coming out of the lady's car to look for Kate's last known location. The place looks deserted though, so Liz checks Andreas' left car. Apparently, and conveniently, someone left their phone in there to record the balloon taking off. Liz then calls over Sophia, the social worker, and she sees the footage. Liz then asks where the wind would blow. Then Sophia says it would blow towards the wind farm.
out to sea, towards that wind farm.
Then the town, then the sea. That would have been their next destination. But Sophia tries to work smart and calls the pilot because his number's left at the shack. Sophia then makes the call. Barely floating, Myra checks the gauge, and they may have 30 minutes of fuel left. Getting desperate to call for help, Myra hatches yet another idea. Man, now this is character development. They needed to improvise the phone so that it could possibly get a better signal, so they cut up a small wire. Quickly, back to Sophia's call. She says the pilot's on vacation, so now they know the balloon is stolen, and poor Sophia's shopping will have to wait. This all turns for the better once Kate finally pings her location out to sea. Well, Kate's phone battery goes empty, and she doesn't know if it was sent. At the coast, some investigation is already ensuing, while Liz convinces, bargains, forces, begs, and gaslights Sophia to help, all in that order. Being pressured, Sophia puts the pedal to the metal. At the investigation, it seems that this entire shindig is about a man falling from the sky, but no one knows where from.
Those little trees over there, maybe?
Going back to the basket, they're running out of fuel, so they need to lighten the weight. This flies over Myra's head because she instead throws her skirt off. Now, we're back to square one with her brain cells. The girls then work together to take the actual balloon's skirt off. Then Sophia and Liz arrive at the beach. There, Sophia asks her to wait inside, but of course she doesn't follow. She gets out and tries to snap a dinghy off the beach.
Come on.
Sophia tries to pull some more strings with a call, but no luck. Instead, she does find Liz trying to make a quick getaway with the dinghy, so she rushes over there to stop her. That's until she takes a tumble. Out at sea, the basket has touched the water, so the girls begin to panic. It's really hinted over this entire time that Kate is aquaphobic, while Myra spills the beans. She admits that she gave their card to her boyfriend and that she's a thief.
You gave my card to your boyfriend.
While these girls are on the edge, Sophia and Liz are on their way in the dinghy from before. Somewhere in the city, Jack takes some hidden money, and it looks like he's got a new flame. What a cheap old geezer. They pack their bags, and then they ride off. Back near the outer seas, Sophia and Liz are getting into some boat troubles. Specifically, they've got a hull breach. So, you know what?
Sorry, we're sinking.
Liz uses Sophia's phone to plug it, much to her disapproval. So let's get back to our two panic buddies, where the balloon has begun to totally sink, despite being disturbed by the water. Kate makes the attempt to save Myra's life. With that being said, she swims both of them to this floating gas tank. Then they hang on for dear life. Adding more to this stranded list are these two, and it looks like they're left to row.
How long do we do this? I'm so find something.
Let's check on our main girls, whose luck turns when a ship rolls by. Unfortunately, it's an enormous cargo ship. At Jack's side of things, his new flame robs him dry while he takes a shower. That's the karma commercial break for you. Back to our deserted mermaids. It looks like the cargo ship missed them. Tough luck. Nearby, Liz is there, but she can't see any of them. So she becomes desperate and makes a lot of noise with an air horn and some screaming. Finally, Kate shouts back and it works for once. The two of them finally get rescued by Liz and Sophia.
My good friends.
So rekindling hugs all around. Good. Now to painstakingly row back to shore. That's it for the high-flying rescue of SOS, Survive or Sacrifice, starring Janine Casper, Mariana Rosset, and Ksenia Pinch. What was your favorite part of this intense balloon ride? Let us know at the comments below using #CinemaRecap, and we'll see you in a high-rise joyride.